Ladies and gentlemen, I am Joseph Bonnell, an 1825 graduate of the United States Military Academy at West Point. I served as a first lieutenant in the 3rd U.S. Infantry Regiment stationed on the Texas-Louisiana border at Fort Jesup, Louisiana, from 1831 to 1838. Fort Jesup is 20 miles east of the Texas-Louisiana border, opposite Nacogdoches, Texas. I'm here today to tell you about my role in the events in 1836 during the Runaway Scrape, which followed the fall of the Alamo and led up to the Battle of San Jacinto. As we know today, at San Jacinto, the Texas Army, led by General Sam Houston, defeated the Mexican Army under General Santa Anna, winning the War of Independence for the Republic of Texas. The story really begins in July 1835, when I was ordered to witness a U.S. treaty with the Cado Indians. With this treaty, the Cado tribe signed away their lands to the U.S. government. I asked to read the treaty before the signing, but the agent representing the U.S. government, Jehiel Brooks, refused to let me read the treaty. This raised my suspicions, and I later discovered that Brooks had included terms in the treaty to personally enrich his friends. I knew that it was my duty to report this illegal action by Mr. Brooks.
Lieutenant Bonnell filed a report on behalf of the Cado Indians in a lawsuit against Brooks. This lawsuit ultimately reached the U.S. Supreme Court. Lieutenant Bonnell's honesty and integrity made a lasting impression on the Cado chiefs. It also got the attention of General Sam Houston. In November 1835, General Sam Houston, the commanding general of the Texas Army, named Lieutenant Bonnell as his aide-de-camp. The document appointing Lieutenant Bonnell is normally stored in the Texas archives, but in 2010 it was displayed in the Bob Bullock Texas State History Museum in the Going to War exhibit.
As aide to General Houston, I sent him a book and prepared a detailed report for him in December of 1835 on how to organize and equip an army. It contained specific instructions relating to uniforms, administration, supplies, pay, promotions, weapons, ammunition, and rations. However, my request for leave of absence from the U.S. Army to serve as General Houston's aide was denied by my colonel.
General Houston ignored the fact that Bonnell was refused a leave of absence and had Lieutenant Bonnell appointed as a captain in the regular Army of Texas. The order was issued on March 10, 1836, with Joseph Bonnell's name appearing on the same list with such names as Travis and Fannin. As a result, Lieutenant Bonnell became the only individual in history to hold commissions in the regular armies of both the United States and Texas at the same time.
During the Runaway Scrape in 1836, after the fall of the Alamo and Goliad, there were reports that an estimated 1,700 hostile Indians were massing in East Texas, led by the Cado tribe. The Texans sent a message to Fort Jesup asking whether the U.S. Army had the power to pacify the Cado. Hostile Indians posed a serious threat to General Houston's small army as it camped and regrouped at Groch's plantation on the Brazos, about 4 miles south of the present town of Hempstead, Texas, between March 31st and April 14th, 1836. On April 7th, my commanding officer, U.S. General Edmund Gaines, ordered me to go into East Texas with an interpreter and quell the reported Indian uprising. My mission was to pacify a large group of hostile tribal people in a war zone in a foreign country where they posed a major threat to General Sam Houston's Texas Army. After a week of travel on horseback, I found the Cado villages northwest of Cado Lake in Texas empty of all but women and children, the warriors having gone to the field. I finally found Cado Chief Cortez in one of the villages. He remembered me and the support I had given his people the year before at the treaty signing. Based on that personal trust, I was able to persuade him to have the war chiefs and warriors return to their villages peacefully. I also learned that a Mexican agent, Manuel Flores, had caused the Indians to go on the warpath against the Texans. I returned to Fort Jesup on April the 20th and gave my full report to General Gaines. My report went all the way up to the President of the United States.
In this heroic action, Lieutenant Bonnell showed great personal courage. His success let General Houston and his army move to engage the Mexican army at San Jacinto without the threat of being attacked by the Cado. His bravery and integrity made Joseph Bonnell a true hero of the Texas Revolution.
I am proud of the fact that I helped Texas and my good friend, Sam Houston, in the fight for Texas independence. I'm also proud that the only weapon General Houston carried into the battle at San Jacinto was the sword that I gave him. I am proud of my friend William Stilwell, in the class 2 years behind me at West Point, who commanded one of the twin sister cannons used in the Battle of San Jacinto. I'm also proud of my friend Hugh McLeod, who served with me at Fort Jesup. He was the Texas Army commander defending Nacogdoches during the Revolution, and later he became Adjutant General of the Republic. I'm particularly proud of my friend Albert Sidney Johnston, in the class behind me at West Point, who rose from private to commanding general of the Texas Army and who later became Secretary of War of the Texas Republic.
In August 1836, the four friends, Joseph Bonnell, Sam Houston, Albert Sidney Johnston, and Hugh McLeod, met to renew their friendship in Nacogdoches, Texas. This was a notable meeting of four comrades in arms, which occurred 4 months after the victorious Battle of San Jacinto. In 1838, Lieutenant Bonnell was promoted to captain in the U.S. Army and reassigned to the 8th Infantry Regiment in northern New York State on the Canadian border. In 1839, Secretary of War Johnston and Adjutant General McLeod planned the military defense of the new capital of the Republic at Austin while it was being built. Johnston wrote, "My agent will set off in a few days to commence the building of the city of Austin at the foot of the mountain on the Colorado." Joseph Bonnell died while on sick leave in 1840 at the age of 38 at the home of his older brother in Philadelphia. He was buried in Philadelphia's Laurel Hill Cemetery in a civil ceremony. In 2004, his gravesite was located and found to be unmarked. On Memorial Day weekend 2005, his former unit, the 3rd Infantry Regiment, now the Old Guard Ceremonial Unit for the President and Arlington Cemetery, gave Captain Joseph Bonnell full graveside honors, complete with a military grave monument and a historical marker. In March 2010, Major General Jose Mayorga, Adjutant General of Texas, Brigadier General Patrick Finnegan, Dean of Academics at West Point, the band of the 1st Cavalry Division, and the color guard of the Ross Volunteer Company of Texas A&M University honored Joseph Bonnell in a ceremony at the Bob Bullock Texas State History Museum in Austin. In the words of General Finnegan, West Pointers have always been agile thinkers, using what they learned as West Point cadets and beyond to solve problems as Joseph Bonnell did, not using force necessarily, but using other methods to avoid war. Joseph Bonnell was a man whose integrity and sense of duty enabled him to earn the trust of tribal people in a war zone in a foreign country and thus prevent a violent assault on the Texas Army as it prepared to engage the Mexican Army in the final and decisive battle of the War for Independence. His extraordinary professional skills were recognized by General Houston in appointing Bonnell to his personal staff as aide-de-camp and captain in the Texas Army. Recognized as a hero of the Texas Revolution by the Texas Legislature for his valor, the qualities that made Joseph Bonnell an outstanding individual nearly 200 years ago still set a standard of excellence in the performance of one's duties in the service of one's state and our nation, now and in the years to come.